All right, we're going to get started with our first official session. Are we all ready? Okay. All right, so we have with us our man of the hour, Ted, and to interview him with this fireside chat, we have Brady. And for a little introduction, Brady is a longtime writer with deep experience in the tech space, currently reporting on blockchain-based startups for Coindesk, as you all know. And Ted is the founder and CEO of Kik, a unicorn startup with millions of users worldwide. And, of course, you know, he's the creator of Kin and is a leader of our shared vision of a digital sharing economy of equal opportunity. And here they are.
Thanks, everybody, for having me. Thanks, Ted, for inviting me out. So when I was coming up on the elevator today, I was riding with a few of the guys here, and one of the questions that they asked me, well, I was asking them, like, you know, what's your chunk of the Kik Ken community? And they were telling me, and they were like, we don't actually know like what we're meant to do here and what the thread that holds us together is. So, I mean, obviously they're all involved, but they were sort of like, what's the algorithm that was that picked us? So, got any insight on that?
Yeah. Is this on? Is it on now? Oh, I can work it. Okay, let me back up for 1 second, okay? So I did an AMA yesterday. I don't know how many of you saw it, but I feel like, so we wanted to make this new, interesting stuff. So we're going to have some good questions here. So it's not going to be a repeat of the AMA yesterday. So let me answer your question. Why are you all here? Kin is different, okay? And we're different in a bunch of ways, but I think the main way that we are different is that we're not focused on the technology, we're not focused on the announcements, we are focused on actually trying to build a cryptocurrency that is used by mainstream consumers. That's it, okay? What got me excited about Bitcoin in 2011? It was a new way to build value by creating a new asset and getting people to use that asset, and if you could do that, you can make that asset really valuable. And that could be great for developers, great for consumers, and great for us, okay? That's different. I actually went through and listened to like interviews with 5 of the top 15 founders of of top 15 coins. And I wanted to see if they would answer one question, which is like, why is anybody going to use this? And there were nobody answered that question. They're like, well, let me explain to you the technology and why the technology is so complicated you could never possibly understand. That's why we're worth a lot of money. Or, you know, let me explain to you all these people we have or all these teams we're building. That's what all these projects are doing. They're just trying to like drive speculation. At Kin, we're actually like, no, what would get people to use a cryptocurrency? That's what we're focused on. And it's just like the whole crypto industry, I feel like, is going that way, and then there's this little project called Kin going this way. And so we wanted to say, okay, who gets that? Like, who understands that this is a different project? Who understands that, me personally, I'm not in this for the money, although I think Kin is going to be very valuable one day. Okay, I think that will be great for everyone, but that's not what drives us. But it's like, who understands that there's something special here, something unique here, that we want to build a different world here? And that was all of you, okay? We go on the social media channels. I personally wake up every morning. If you want to get me on Reddit, the time to do it is at roughly 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. Eastern, which is when I get up, I sit in my bathtub, and I go on Reddit, okay? It's weird, I know. It's a weird thing. But that's what I started doing. My routine used to be I used to read TechCrunch every morning for an hour or, you know, different blogs. Now I read Reddit for an hour. You want to get me on Reddit? 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Eastern, 6 days a week, 5 or 6 days a week, okay? And just in there, it's like, who gets it? You know, and not who gets it like who's just saying, oh, this is the best project ever. I don't know why, but it just is. Like, no, who actually understands what's unique? Who actually understands what's different? And that's each of you. And that's what we did. We went through Reddit, we went through Telegram, and we went through Twitter, and we said, who actually gets it? Who actually understands? And who can be part of the community in a productive way, not just, you know, we don't want like a row of cheerleaders, right? That's not what we're looking for, but people who want to be part of this, build it with us, criticize it when it makes sense, like debate with us, and that was all of you. We sort of recognize you for this person gets it. We should invite them. They should be part of our ambassador event. So that's why all of you are here.
Cool. I hope all of you made note of when to catch him on Reddit. If you really want to do that well, you should get up a little earlier than that, read Coindesk for a little while, and then I'll get you ready. Ask him some good questions.
So let me answer. I'll give you a good plug, okay?
Okay.
Okay. I used to read a bunch of blogs every morning for an hour. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it because it's true. I unsubscribe from TechCrunch because it's way too much about tech and way too little about crypto. So now I actually, before Reddit, I read 2 blogs. Recode, because I feel like they only publish a few blogs. Maybe they're struggling or something. But they only publish a few articles a day, and Coindesk. And that's it. So Recode, Coindesk, and then Reddit.
Great.
So.
That's the right way to go. Okay. So I came here kind of prepped to talk a lot about Kik itself, since that's where Kin came from. But then it became pretty clear, just even in the elevator, that a lot of these folks are not necessarily like Kik heads. They're on other communities. So like, what's been the reaction of Kik's existing supporters, its investors, its existing heavy Kik users about the fact that the idea of community has moved off of this app that a lot of people know and love?
So our investors are like very supportive, okay? But it took a while for us to get there. I was at this Bitcoin conference with 13 people in 2012, January 2012. Gavin, the lead developer of Bitcoin, was there. I was there, and 11 other people were there, and that was it. And I was like, man, this thing is going to change the world, Bitcoin, guarantee the scarcity of a digital asset, but nobody's going to use Bitcoin. It's logically flawed, okay? I said, Gavin, but why is anybody going to use this for payments? He's like, I'm thinking about that later. A year later, Fred Wilson, who invested in us, you're going to see him later, he also invested in Coinbase. I think he sits on the board of both, and he only sits on a handful of boards. So I was with Brian at this Union Square Venture CEO Summit in 2013, and I said, but Brian, why is anybody going to use Bitcoin? And he did not have an answer. And so we realized that there was an opportunity on one side that these cryptocurrencies would become huge, but that there was an opportunity to be the first cryptocurrency that was actually used by mainstream users. And so that was a bit of a crazy idea. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I know we've raised 120 million of your dollars. I really appreciate that from the VC community. No. This is before that. I know we've raised a lot of money. And I really appreciate that. And I know you want us to go do this ad thing, but I think this ad thing is just not going to work. And they're like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm pretty sure. But don't worry, I have a different plan. And our different plan is we're going to launch a new economy around a new currency. And they're like, what are you talking about? So it took time to convince ourselves and our investors that this was like a great option for a consumer company. That if you want to do the ad game, one, you're misaligned with your consumers. You're now working against them. How can we stuff more ads and take more of their data and more of their privacy? You're not going to be able to compete with Facebook and Google. They have a monopoly on the digital advertising market, and you will die. Okay? And instead of dying, you could use a cryptocurrency, use your community to drive demand for a cryptocurrency. By driving demand for a cryptocurrency, you would drive up the price of a cryptocurrency, and therefore that piece you held of the cryptocurrency would go up as well. And this could be a fundamentally new way to monetize, to compete, and to build a consumer service. Okay? And then along the way, we realized, wait a second, we could do this not just for us, but we could do this for the 99% of other consumer services out there who needed a different way, or they would die as well. And so with our investors, we got them to a point. We voted on it as a board only a year ago to go all in on crypto. It actually came to a formal vote. These boards are like, all in favor, say aye, and you have to say aye. And we said, okay, we had the vote, we're in as a company. And I think since then, even a year ago, people thought we were crazy, even just a year ago. But today, people are like, how did you guys see it? This is so amazing. This is the future. So I think today our investors are super supportive. Our users of Kik are largely unaware, I would say. They knew Kik points. They loved Kik points. Millions of people used it. But with Kin, and that's what we're going to hear from Tal, it's like, but the whole Ethereum blockchain crashes if more than 10,000 people use it. We're like, okay, step number one, we have to fix that. so that more than 10,000 people can use it. Then step number 2, we'll integrate it in a way similar to what we did with Kik Points, but even better. And then step 3, we'll expand it beyond Kik with the SDK and the KRE. So our users are sort of, they're coming next.
I wrote about you guys really early prior to Coindesk, and it was kind of in my like still sort of starry-eyed, just starting to understand crypto kind of area. And I think I said something to the effect of, you know, isn't this going to be so interesting? Like all these regular folks and young people are going to have a crypto wallet all of a sudden. So I'm just curious from y'all in the room, how many, and be honest, like how many y'all were Kik hardcores pre-kin? Raise your hands. Got a couple. All right. 3,
Everybody
4.
from Kik, yes.
Got the staff. All right. So that's fine. I mean, that's cool. But it is we're all learning as these technologies develop. But it is interesting. Not a ton of Kik people in the room, which is intriguing. So to that point, so for folks who don't know, my specific beat at Coindesk is I write about ICOs. Like that's what I write, and the things that come out of ICOs. That's what I focus on. So I'm seeing companies, sort of making a similar pitch all the time now. Like a lot of companies are like, we're making this decentralized platform that people can do social things on. So like, I guess one thing I'm starting to wonder about is, in this existing world where you have social, and it's like, I make one photo, and if I really want it to get spread around, I have to like repost it on 7 different things because they're all centralized. I mean, if we have a bunch of different cryptocurrencies out there that are designed to work on social internet apps of different kinds, like, Kin early in, does that kind of put us in the same place ultimately if each platform kind of needs to have one token at the heart of it?
I don't think so. So when you say you hear lots of pitches that are similar to Kin, I think lots of people out there are saying, we are going to decentralize X. Mm-hmm. We're going to decentralize storage. We're going to decentralize computing power. We're going to decentralize social networks.
Yeah. And we're going to let other people build stuff on this protocol that we make.
Okay,
too.
so we are not decentralizing any of those things.
Okay.
Okay, we're not decentralizing Kik, at least not today. Mm-hmm. Why? Because decentralized Kik would be worse. Kik today, it's like I sign up, it's free, there's 0 friction, there's no private keys, there's no cost. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. And we're like, oh no, quick, like file storage. Like I could either go to Amazon and pay 8 cents, mm-hmm. or I could go to one of these file storage networks. It's just the centralized version is usually cheaper, easier, etc. Because if it weren't, then Amazon would already be doing the decentralized equivalent. So what makes Kin different, okay, is we recognize that parts of the user experience are better when centralized. Okay, this is a key thing that is like controversial, maybe is the right word. What is Kin? We are not a decentralized social network. Why? Because we don't think any mainstream consumer is ever gonna use that. We are a decentralized currency, so nobody controls the currency, and we are a decentralized incentive protocol, okay, which incentivizes developers to build places for consumers, and those places may or may not be decentralized, may or may not be centralized, to earn and spend that currency. And that's it. Everything else is centralized.
So incentivized protocol is a way of tracking engagement from people, how much time they're spending, like how into it they seem to be, and rewarding developers who build things that seem to generate a lot of that kind of activity.
Yeah, so I think, what did we see back in 2012 with Bitcoin? What did we see its flaw was it was going after the physical world. Like, you listen to any of these founders, like, they're like, one day you'll buy a coffee with Bitcoin. How many of you bought a coffee with Bitcoin recently? You're a liar. Come on down. Tell me how you did it.
So I used the 10x before.
Yeah.
Before when?
Before they banned the recent.
No, I'm not saying ever. I'm saying like today. Not today. Never would buy something with Bitcoin today. Like that was the fundamental problem of Bitcoin, of all these projects in our mind, is they're all going after the physical world. And in the physical world runs on dollars, okay? Like if I run a coffee shop, and I have a coffee, I make it for you, and I sell it to you, and you give me Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin goes down by half, I'm screwed because I got to pay my staff in dollars, I got to buy my coffee beans in dollars, pay my rent in dollars. So then people would say, yeah, but we can convert it instantly from Bitcoin to cash. It's like, but then why don't we just use cash? It didn't make sense to us. This is what I said to Gavin back in 2012. You're focusing on the wrong economy. The economy, the physical economy already runs on dollars and it works. It works really well. Okay? We can debate how well, but it works pretty well. But where is there an economy that doesn't run on dollars and where dollars won't work? And we said in the digital world. Okay? Think of Kik as a little country that millions of people show up to every day. Those are like the citizens of Kikland. And we are the government of Kikland. Okay? And when our citizens want to exchange value with each other, they need a way to do it. Okay? Why would I build a sticker about the latest, political meme that just happened? Okay? Why would I actually spend the time to host a great group chat about this topic or that topic? Like, why would I actually do that? Because you can get paid. Okay? And that's what Kik Points did, is it added a currency to Kikland, and that's what Kin does. It adds a currency to Kikland. And we think that's the killer advantage of Kin, is we're not focused on the physical world, even though everybody else is. Right? Like, that's what doesn't make any sense to me. They're like, it's coming, you just have to wait. I'm like, we've been waiting for 8 years, and the number of Bitcoin transactions are going down. Whereas instead, with Kin, we're focused on the digital world. And the cool thing is, like, you sort of think about it, like, Kik is our little country. We can say, listen, we have this new currency. We're going to, one, demonstrate that that currency can operate at scale, and two, demonstrate that we can get millions of people using it every day in little Kikland. Okay? And then once we demonstrate that, we think Kin will be the most used cryptocurrency in the world by mainstream consumers, and that will make Kin pretty valuable, I think. Okay? And then we're going to take a chunk of that value, 60% of the value, and we're going to give it to other people who have their own lands, their own digital lands, to say, listen, if you make, you could launch your own cryptocurrency, but it's hard and regulatory and technology and all these different things, and hey, it only works in your little country, it doesn't work anywhere else. If you use Kin instead, you'll be driving demand for Kin that will cause the value of Kin to go up. We'll give you that piece of value back with the Kin reward engine. Yeah. And that's like the thing, I think that's really different.
No, I mean, and that's what I meant when I said decentralizing sort of these social worlds. So if you create these communities that people start having a good time, I mean, I assume a part of the point of this gathering, right, is you want people to start like actually liking each other as human beings and identifying as a community, right? Like that's sort of the point of people being here. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It's not a trick question. There's no hidden.
I was like, where can I go with that?
Yeah, that was me. Okay. Yeah, and I wasn't going to a dark place, but so a thing I wonder about, and I do. So like, let's say this all works, and looking at ways on the road. Like I'm a comic book fan, and the first time I managed to go to one of the big conventions, New York Comic Con, it was like a bummer to me, to be honest, because it was like this world that I've always liked that, I spent a lot of money on, but you get there and it's just like so super commodified and so super commercialized. I mean, do you worry about sort of having this world that people like and enjoy, introducing money, and that kind of at a certain point kind of giving that same like New York Comic Con feeling? Is that a thing you're nervous about?
Am I nervous? I'm like super excited. I'm trying to figure out if I'm nervous at all about it. I don't think I am.
Okay.
We're going to show some stuff with Kik tomorrow that only work when you have an incentive layer. Okay? And that's what is so cool about cryptocurrency to us. That's the pitch we're making when we go out and talk to people. It's like, one, you have a big consumer service like we do. Two, Facebook is a monopoly and crushing you like they were to us. Three, we have a way out. Okay? But three, we have a way out. A way out where you get paid and your service gets better. Okay? And I think that's, talking about commercialization, the world today is set up where the digital world, where you build this community, and then if you own the community, your job is now to take as much value from those people as possible, either by trying to get them to buy your stuff or trying to take their attention with advertising. That's your mission, is to try to extract as much value as possible. Okay? Now with Kik, our job is to get people to use the currency, to exchange value between each other. So now we're aligned. We're trying to say, hey, you're in Kikland. How could we get you a job effectively in Kikland where you could be providing value to the community such that community would recognize that and compensate you? Said another way, how can we get you paid for your contributions? And I just think that's like, so wait a second. So Facebook's mission is to take as much of your time as possible. Okay, that's their mission. And our mission is to try to get you paid as much as possible. I just think that is is so cool, so different, so fundamental to like where society could go. And I don't think it's like Comic-Con at all, where it's like, you know, maybe one day Kinland 20 years from now, we'll get there. I don't know. You know, it's sort of like the internet started as this beautiful place and got ruined over time. Maybe Kinland will get ruined too. I hope not. But I think for the first, you know, 5, 10 years, it's going to be amazing where now you have all these developers around the world, instead of trying to extract value, are trying to give value and trying to get consumers paid. And when consumers get paid, they get kin, which means they get a piece of the ecosystem. They have stake. Like, I just think that's so cool. So no, I'm super excited about it. I'm not nervous. Okay. I don't think I'm nervous, but I'm definitely super excited about it.
I feel like a bunch of my questions have been like, are you nervous about this? And you're never nervous. You're very confident. So congratulations.
But why? Okay. No. Okay. Okay. You're gonna get to know me over the next few days and the next 2 years, and maybe you know over the last 2 months or whatever. I'm a pretty like authentic guy. Okay. And I can tell a good story about this. Why? Because I believe it. And if you could come find a flaw with my story, okay, I probably would have already found it. And I can only believe a story like this because I haven't yet been able to find any flaws in all my conversations. So am I confident today? Yes, but you talked to my team and you asked them what was I like 2 years ago, okay, when we were getting crushed. You know, they're saying fucking Ted was telling us he's freaking out. Like, because we were playing an impossible game. So I'm confident because I have something to be confident about. I'm a fucking Canadian, man. I can only be confident about things if I'm actually believe them. I'm not like a fake it till you make it guy. I show up in a hoodie and a purple t-shirt. So I'm confident because we've been thinking about this for so long. This was our dream for so long. And now here we are, and it's like we get to be all in. And that to me, honestly, like, I used to talk to my co-founder, Chris, about this. Like, I'm like, man, imagine we could get to the place where we were actually, like, we did it. Like, we launched a cryptocurrency. That was our plan. And it's like, yeah, but we can't do that. That's too crazy. And here we are.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm excited.
So speaking of cryptocurrency and things that people are all in on, a moment I wanted to ask you about, and maybe there's not much here, I don't know, but you know, at Coindesk, one of the things that we have thought is most interesting that Kik has done is the two-token system and that whole evolution. The first thing I want to ask about in that is just talk to me about what happened for you, like online, the day you described Ethereum as like the dial-up of the internet.
I didn't mean to be mean. I just meant it represents a phase of technology. I wasn't, you know, Vitalik's from Toronto, right? So he's Canadian too. Crypto Canadians, I don't know why. See, we're all too nice. We just all want to work together. We want mainstream consumers to use a cryptocurrency. And we think the hardest problem with that is setting up a system, setting up an economy in a place where they would actually use it. Not in the physical world, in the digital world. That's what we did with Kik Points. Okay, we got millions of people using Kik Points. If it was a cryptocurrency, it would have been the most used cryptocurrency in the world. Okay, that would have been pretty cool. But to do that as a cryptocurrency, we've got to put it on the blockchain. And we put it on Ethereum. We knew Ethereum would crash right away. But we didn't realize how quickly it would crash right away. And then it was CryptoKitties that crashed it right away while we were trying to launch this thing. You know, roll it out to 100 users, and it takes like, what, 2 days to get them their first kin. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work if it takes 2 days. So I was trying to say Ethereum is the dial-up era of the internet. And I think I didn't say Ethereum is dial-up. I said this is the dial-up era of cryptocurrencies. Okay? So now let's talk about Ethereum and Stellar.
Wait, no, first,
okay.
I really want you to tell me, because Ethereum folks are hardcore, and with good reason. It's a cool thing, but they don't usually like it very much when people sort of diss them. So like, what happened? Like, did you hear from?
I don't go on the Ethereum subreddit every morning, so I honestly, I was like, that was a good line. I like that line. So I didn't get any blowback. Maybe I would have, but I thought it was a pretty good line.
We would have gotten so much blowback. But okay, cool. Well then, yeah, do the Stellar. Well, I mean, a big question for me with you and Stellar is, I mean, if you had to do over again, would you just start on Stellar?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's back up for a second.
Yeah, do it.
Okay. We're launching on Ethereum and Stellar. This, to me, shows just another example of why Kin is very different than every other project, okay? We need more scale. Everybody's saying that. Vitalik's saying that. Other people are saying that. Everybody's saying that. Oh, blockchains 3 to 4 years from now before they can reach mainstream scale. So what is everybody's answer to that? We're going to do this crazy complicated thing. We're going to hire all these crazy people, and we're going to figure it out over the next 3 to 4 years. Okay? At Kik, we are very practical. Okay? We're practical people. We need a blockchain on one side that is very decentralized and is great for investors. And then on the other side, it's very fast and not as decentralized, but it's great for consumers. Okay? And so while everybody out is running out to create this crazy solution, we're like, why don't we just use both? Like that was literally it. We're like, if you're an investor and you want hardware wallets, exchanges, all that stuff, you don't care about transaction fees or speed, keep your Kin on Ethereum. If you're a consumer that's earning and spending pennies per day in this digital economy, or dollars per day in this digital economy, and you don't need a hardware wallet, you just want it to be fast and cheap, use it on Stellar. And by the way, if you earn a bunch over here and you want to bring it across, you can do that. If you want to buy a bunch over here and bring it across, you can do that. It's like, that was so easy. Like, and that's the crazy thing to me is like all these other projects that are like, have this crazy story about how they're going to solve scale. There's actually just like a very simple answer, right? Like, what is a blockchain? It's a database that nobody controls, okay? Stellar over here, they have a different way of doing consensus that allows them to have much higher scale, but lower decentralization. Ethereum over here has much higher decentralization, but lower scale. Why don't you just put the two together? And that's what we did. And that to me is like, it's crazy to me, because we spent 6 years on not the technology problem, but on the user experience problem with Kik points and Kik and building an economy inside a messenger. And then when we go to the technology problem, we like find the answer in like months. Like Tal and his team find the answer to this problem in like a couple months about how to solve the problem when nobody else saw that. And yes, that's going to get us to millions of users, and we're going to have to go beyond that at some point. So at some point, we're going to have to swap out Stellar probably for another blockchain. That's why we're working with Orbs. But to get to millions of users, like we can do that pretty much today. I don't want to make a commitment on a timeline. But this to me, this points out to me, nobody actually has an idea how, like they're like, Ethereum only supports 10,000 users. For the most part, that's fine with us because we don't have more than 10,000 users. Mm-hmm. Like if anybody was actually had a way to get real scale, they would be solving these technology problems that everybody's trying to make seem very complicated, and they are to some degree, but there's shortcuts there that it's so interesting to me that everybody else is missing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we're going to hear from Tal. Tal's going to take us through that.
So a big topic in kind of ICO land right now, or sort of a brewing topic, is the idea of acquisitions, like blockchains acquiring blockchains, and like how would that even work? Is that something Kik has thought about yet? Is that relevant to your plans?
We have thought about it. It's an interesting idea, right? Like we have a bunch of tokens, you have a bunch of tokens. You know, we use our tokens to buy your tokens, like, but we don't think about it that much. Like we're just like right now, nobody uses these things, mm-hmm. And we have a very clear path with Ethereum and Stellar, and with Kik to actually get people earning and spending in a cryptocurrency. Mm-hmm. And when we do that, we will be the first one in the world to do that, if we were to do that today. And then from there, all these other things open up from there. But right now, like that's what we're focused on.
And you're thinking really heavily about people spending money on digital things that people buy online.
Yes. And it's more complicated than that, actually. And I don't want to get into this too much. This is a little bit of the secret sauce.
Are you going to say, you're going to say secret sauce? I knew
secret
you were going to say secret sauce, yeah.
Because, again, everybody's focusing on physical world. That's wrong. So they should focus on the digital world. That's what we did back in 2013, 2014 with Kik points. It's very successful. But then within the digital world, it gets like more interesting from there. And like what you're trying to do is you're trying to set up an economy. Okay? Like you look at like New York City, and there's somebody who works at a coffee shop, and there's somebody who works at a restaurant, and then there's somebody who works at a garage mechanic. And what is an economy? You fix my car so that you can go eat at their restaurant so that they can come get a coffee at my coffee shop. That is what we are trying to create. An economy where there's a bunch of ways that you can contribute value and earn, and then take that value in this digital world and spend it. This is the very complicated thing that I think nobody is working on, is like how to launch a global digital economy with, we hope, billions of people in it. So that's what, so it's not just like, hey, we sell stickers, right?
You definitely sell stickers, though.
But you know, we did that with Kik Points. We sold stickers. The hard part is not how you sell stickers. The hard part is how do you get people to create stickers?
Yes, right.
That's the thing. It's like that's like a good example. Like that's a job in Kinland. I'm going to create a sticker. I'm going to put it on this marketplace, and then people are going to pay me kin. And then you're going to host a great group chat over here. I'm going to take my kin that you paid me to get that sticker, and I'm going to pay it back to you to get into your group chat.
Right.
It's like, but no, so you gave me 5 kin, and then I gave you 5 kin. We're both at 0. In the traditional economy, that equals we've made 0 money. In cryptocurrency economics, we just created demand for the currency. We're now using it. Now there's demand for it. Now you're saying, shit, instead of hosting a group chat, I just want your sticker now. I should go out to an exchange and buy it and bring it in. That will then create, for the first time ever, real non-speculative demand for a cryptocurrency. And we think that's going to be very interesting.
And how are you going to persuade people to make stuff bigger and bolder than stickers? And what are they going to be?
So this is the nice part about having Kik, is we don't have to persuade ourselves. We are very invested. So we have Kik. We have like a mainstream consumer service where we say our mission is to create an economy inside Kik. And in fact, we've been working on that for the last 5 years now. How to do that. It's not an easy thing. But then once we've done it, that becomes a template for everybody else to copy. Okay, so all these other digital communities out there, they're not a messenger. Let's say they're a music app, or they're a journalism app, or they're any of these sort of digital communities, gaming community. And they say, wait, okay, that's how Kik did it. So if I take this Kin SDK, I can see those ideas. If I apply it this way in my app, that will get people using the currency in my app. And then if I do that, I can get a big chunk of the currency from the Kin reward engine. So that's how we set up the Kin reward engine, is to like look at Kik, it's doable, and we're a top app. Okay? SDK, we made it very simple, and it's ready for scale. Put it in, and if you do, you'll be helping grow demand for the currency. You'll get a piece of the currency from the Kin reward engine. But that piece, you'll like the value of what's ever left in the Kin reward engine will now have gone up. Like it's this, like if we can put these things together, scalable blockchain, a way to get consumers to use the cryptocurrency, and a very simple SDK and incentive layer, the Kin reward engine, the network effect is insane, okay? Why? Because somebody says, wow, that's what Kik did, I want to do that. Why? Because, look at Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin gives out $10 million a day to miners. And if that made Bitcoin more valuable, they're just running the transactions. That's such a waste of money, in my opinion. Imagine instead of just burning energy, we're going to burn $10 million worth of electricity a day, we're going to actually give it to developers to make Bitcoin more in demand. Okay? So we're going to give you $10 million a day, but you find ways to get people to use Bitcoin. And if you do that, you're going to create more demand, so Bitcoin tomorrow might be worth twice as much. If Bitcoin tomorrow is worth twice as much, now we're not giving away $10 million a day, we're giving away $20 million a day.
So wait, do I hear you saying that Kik as a company first is going to prioritize building stuff that people want to spend money on, and then you're going to worry about convincing developers to come in and build new stuff that they will want to spend money on?
We're doing all these things in parallel.
Okay.
Okay? We have lots of people. That's the other nice thing. We've been doing this for 9 years. We have learned how to build a company, and we've learned the right way to do it, the wrong way to do it, and everywhere in between. We are doing all these things in parallel, but it's very important to be clear on, but what's higher priority? Okay, and our priorities right now, yes, we're working on all these things, but our highest priorities right now is, one, can we have a blockchain that can support 1 million users? If no, nothing else matters. If no, this is never going to work. Okay? Once yes, can we use Kik to show that we can get 1 million consumers earning and spending in this cryptocurrency? If yes, this will become the most used cryptocurrency in the world. This will become incredibly valuable. Okay? If yes, can we build an SDK and an incentive protocol, the Kik reward engine, to enable and incentivize any developer in the world to come build this economy with us?
Yeah.
And if yes, then we win.
Okay. So the first thing is like this bigger scale of blockchain.
So we're working on all these in parallel.
Yeah.
But that's the order.
Okay. Cool. You wanted to give these guys a chance to. Where are we on time in the 10 minutes? All right, that's good. So great. Do folks have questions that you want to ask now? Dude, 4 rows back, this hand's up. Yeah, you're the guy. So the question was, and let me know if I get this right. So it's really a question about volatility, right? Like it's how can people really use it if it's still a crypto and it's probably going to be volatile? Did I get that correct? Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Good question. I answered this morning on Reddit. Actually, I didn't answer this morning. Somebody else answered this morning.
Can I repeat it for the live stream really quickly? The guys in the back want me to repeat it. So the other question was just like, how will people actually want to spend it if there's also this sense that it's like it's kind of like they got a little piece of gold and gold could go up in value. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
So this question was literally asked this morning on Reddit. Somebody gave a really great answer. I forget their name right now. Wouldn't it be cool if they were here? They're like, I answered it. No, they're not here. And I said, yeah, good answer, his answer, or her answer. This is the crux of the challenge, okay? Cryptocurrency, why would you accept it if it could be worth half as much tomorrow? Why would you spend it if it could be worth twice as much tomorrow? The answer today, you wouldn't, okay? And that's been true for all cryptocurrencies. So you have 2 options. Option number 1 is eliminate volatility, okay? This is what stablecoins are. There's no volatility for our stablecoin, and therefore people will spend it.
What's your take on stablecoin?
I think they miss the most beautiful part of cryptocurrencies, which is the volatility, okay? This is why I like, yeah, I know, you guys are all excited about that. I get that. Yeah, I'm a pump and dumper, I know. A quick aside about that. I listened to one of these podcasts, and somebody, I won't call names, but you all know who it is like, I had to sell all my cryptocurrency so that I would be non-conflicted. I was like, I want to be conflicted. Like, I don't understand. Like, I want Kin to be worth as much as possible. And everybody in the project should want that. Anyways, I digress. The other option, okay, number 1, eliminate volatility. Okay, so what you're saying is it will never go up in value. Okay, why would a developer come in and contribute to Kin if it was never going to go up in value? They would not. That's the answer, okay? Instead, what you need to focus on is where is an application where the volatility becomes irrelevant. This is what we are focused on in Kin. This is what we discovered with Kik Points. In the digital world, in the physical world, everything runs on dollars, and so the volatility against the dollar really matters. But in the digital world, where there is no US dollar today, where people are only contributing their time, and they don't need to recover any dollars, then the volatility can cancel out. Okay, and you go to Reddit today, you can look me up, and then you can see the one I replied to most recently, Ted on Reddit. This is what somebody said. They said, listen, we're in the US here today. What's the exchange rate between the US dollar and the Japanese yen today? Don't know, don't care. Okay? This is the answer. This is what we need to do in kin, is that for 99.999% of consumers, what is the exchange rate between kin and the US dollar? Don't know, don't care. Because I'm not earning in kin land to then convert it into fiat to pay my mortgage. I'm earning it in kin land because I want to spend it on something in kin land. And let me finish one more thing. This to me is another sign that nobody knows what they're doing in crypto land, okay? Everybody's like, you have 10 trillion tokens, you idiots. I'm like, these guys don't get it, okay? Because they're focused on the physical world and they're saying, hey, 1 Bitcoin, 20 grand. I'm like, if you try to go to market in the physical world, it will never work. You have to do it in the digital world. In the digital world, when people host a group chat, nobody's going to give them 20 grand to get into their group chat, or at least not very often. So what are they going to do? They're going to give them 1 penny to get into the group chat. 1 penny worth of value, at least initially. So if it's 1 penny US dollar, would you rather that be 0.000001 Bitcoin, or would you rather get 10 kin? And this to me is just another thing to point to. Everybody's like, nah, 10 trillion, those guys are idiots. They don't know what they're doing. I'm like, no, you guys are all idiots. You don't know what you're doing. Like, it's just like, when people start launching like $1 trillion coin circulations, you'll understand like, okay, people are catching on to what kin is doing. And until then, they don't know what they're doing, is my opinion. And again, I was with Gavin at a conference with him, and 11 other people in January 2012, 6 years ago. So it's not like, oh, Ted's new to crypto, he doesn't get it. No, I've been in crypto a very long time. We've just been thinking about not the technology, but the go-to-market.
So let me just one quick follow-up on that. Because I hear what you're saying, and I think micropayments are cool. I wouldn't be writing about crypto if I didn't think this was all interesting. But like, I get what you're saying, that like the consumer needs to not think about it. They need to not care. It's just this money that they spend online for a lot of things, and they don't care. But the dude who built the app that people are spending it there on does care, because he or she need to take it out into fiat eventually to pay their mortgage, right? It makes me think of like, the restaurants you hear in countries going through hyperinflation that are like changing the labels on their restaurant prices as people like come and go. And I just don't, how can you ever divorce those vendors who are making the companies built on kin from that volatility, right? Because it's going to matter to them. They're going to need to change their prices for what a battle sword in their Unity game costs, as the prices move, right?
So for developers, they don't get paid. Our view is we don't want developers to charge consumers, okay? Like, it's not like, hey, it's not Kik is selling a sticker for 10 kin and taking that kin, even though that's where we'll start, okay? What we want to set up is what we call a consumer-to-consumer economy. It's, you're some kid on Kik, you create a sticker, I'm some kid on Kik, I buy your sticker. It's consumer-to-consumer, and Kik is sitting above, not taking any cut of that transaction, but is getting paid by the kin reward engine. But then Kik above is getting paid by the kin reward engine. In this case, Kik's not, but let's take some other developer. They can take that, it's larger amounts because they're driving demand from the currency, that's their incentive. They can take that out to exchanges, sell it, and cover their bills. But for a consumer inside, it's a consumer-to-consumer economy in the digital world. That's what we're focused on. We think that's the only go-to-market place for a cryptocurrency.
There's a PhD thesis for one of your kids in this whole conversation, but we'll wait for that. So we probably only have time for like two more questions, too. All right, so this dude in the corner raised his hand before.
So I know you're talking about sustainability and affordability with the platform, and I'm a big believer in seeing integrating, right? You have these SDKs, you got the KRA that kind of ties into it all. When will we be able to see that happen, or when can people start playing with it? I know that those are out there. When will we see some type of practical application of that?
Just to repeat for the folks on the camera, so your question is, when are people going to get to start to actually see betas of the SDKs and things like that? Yeah, okay, cool.
So, good question. Today, we, 1, do not have a scalable blockchain in market. 2, we do not have anything other than a minimum viable product that is very basic inside of Kik. So we don't have mainstream adoption inside Kik. And 3, we do not have an SDK that any developer can adopt. And 4, we do not have the Kin reward engine that any developer can get paid by. We have none of these things. Okay, when are we going to have them? Before, I would have given you a date. I've learned a lesson around that. When they're ready, okay? But here's why. You could sit there and say, well, that's bullshit, you know? What do you mean when it's ready? Tell me when it's ready. I want to know now. Listen, this is crypto. It's crazy. It's crazy on the technology side. It's crazy on the regulatory side. It's crazy on all sides. So I give you a date, but it's just a guess. Like I'm saying, oh, I don't know, I think it's a month, so let's like double that a couple times. And it will still be wrong. It will still be wrong, okay? Here's what you should do, okay? I'm telling you that the most important thing is to get mainstream adoption of a currency. Does anybody have that today? No. Okay. So who's in first place? We have no idea. The race, no. I know, you point at me, but no. We're not. We're not in first place. Nobody is in first place. Nobody has even started the race yet. There's literally nobody has even left the gate. Okay? For us to leave the gate, does anybody have a blockchain that can support mainstream scale? No. Has anybody shown mainstream consumer adoption? No. Has anybody shown an SDK that developers use to get their consumers to do mainstream adoption? No. Has anybody set up an incentive protocol that's incentivizing developers to build mainstream consumer adoption? No. So you sit there and say to me, when somebody has a yes and we have a no, that's where you say, what the fuck's happening, okay? Sorry, excuse my language. But that's where you should say. That's where you should say. Yeah, don't quote me on that, okay? This is off the record, right? But that's where you should say. That's where you should say, listen, Kin, you said it's most important to be the most used cryptocurrency in the world. And now there's this other project that's ahead of you. Now I have questions, okay? And I don't want those questions, okay? So what I tell my team and what are we working on? Get these 4 things as fast as possible before anybody else. And I think we have a real shot at being the first project in the world to deliver 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 of these things. And I think if we do, we will be like, I don't say in a league of our own, but like literally the only one in the race. But what do I worry about, okay? Confidence thing. When we do that, okay? When we do that, I think we're going to be the first. People are going to look at this and be like, oh my gosh, we missed the whole point of this whole thing, and Kin showed us the way, okay? And listen, we were the first messenger to go viral in 2010. 0 to 1 million users in 15 days in 2010. Fastest growing thing in known human history. What does everybody do? We should copy that, okay? And that's that. If you want to talk about risks, we are trying to set everything up to 1, be the first one in the race, 2, be the most used cryptocurrency, and then 3, stay there. And that's why we've learned over the last 9 years, all the ways you get screwed on the way to that. We've been copied by Facebook like so many times at this point, where we're setting it up so once everybody goes, oh my gosh, I get what they're doing, it's too late. That is, you know, we want to get in the race first. We want to be the most used cryptocurrency in the world. And then we want to set it up where we become uncatchable. And that's where the Kin reward engine comes into play.
So I guess last question. Dude right there.
Regarding Unity, there's been some confusion, I think, from what I've read. So I love Unity. I was really excited. Most people know that I was banned by commenting all the time. So people think that you would integrate Kin into Unity so that developers can ask for customers to pay them in Kin and they can get Kin. But are you planning on using Kin inside Unity so that people can create like a character for game in Unity and get paid within Unity so they can spend up inside Unity to get another digital token?
So question about,
Is it going to remain inside Unity as a currency inside Unity to trade?
so the,
In apps coming from Unity?
so the question was about the game engine Unity, 3D game engine that everybody uses, and what it's going to look like. What it's going to look like when Kin is integrated into Unity. And I think this is a great question. We were talking this a little bit backstage. You know, I think of Kik as this 2-dimensional thing. Unity is this 3D thing. Just sort of like help me picture how those 2 worlds merge. Anyway.
So, Kin, okay? What are we trying to do? We're trying to put together a digital economy, okay? That digital economy, there's Kik land. That's the first digital country where digital citizens will use kin as the medium of exchange inside there. But from there, we want to get kin, the currency, into all these other digital communities, okay? And that's what the kin reward engine incentivizes. Okay, how does Unity come into play? A lot of the biggest digital communities in the world are games, okay? So what did we say? We said we could go after one game at a time and try to get them all to put in kin. But what would be more interesting is if we could go to the platform that all the games are built with and work with them and say, not just, hey, we announced something and they're going to be a partner too, okay? Like, which seems to be what everybody's announcing. Everybody's going to be a partner, but I'm like, but do you have a blockchain that we can use? Everybody's like, no, but we'll do that later. Okay, we want to do that first. But with Unity, it's, you have digital communities. You have people building digital communities. We have one, a way for them to make money where they're not extracting value, where they're getting their people to exchange value, and two, where they can get paid. So we have a powerful tool for your developers. Let's work together on this. Let's co-select beta developers who you think are the smartest developers, the smartest game developers, to work with them on how we introduce kin into their economies. Okay, we know how to do it in a messenger, but we're not a gaming company. Let's co-host hackathons at events around the world, and then let's co-market the crap out of all the stuff that comes out of that. And let's work together on that.
So is making money kin rewards engine? Is it buying swords? Is it buying games? Is it all those things?
This is like the real flip is historically you're a developer. Kik, game, doesn't matter. You're anybody. You're any business in the economy. Your only business model is to extract value. We sell you swords. Okay? Yeah, that's sort of what the world is. But now with a cryptocurrency, you've created a digital asset that has fixed supply. And so if you can get more people using it, you don't have to take any cut. If they just get more people to use it, there's more demand. If there's more demand, the price goes up because supply is fixed. You know, price is supply and demand, supply is fixed. That's what the blockchain guarantees. It will never be more than 10 trillion kin. So now as a developer, it's a different thing. It's not like before I was selling swords for dollars, but now I'm going to sell swords for kin. Yes, you could do that, okay? But that's not the power. The power is how can you get consumers creating swords for each other and selling swords to each other? And if they were doing that and facilitating that with a cryptocurrency, they would be using it. If they're using it, they're creating demand for it. If they're creating demand for it, the price of kin is going up. So that's why it's like when we work with Unity, it's not just, hey, this is a replacement for in-app purchase or anything else. This is like a fundamentally new way of creating value.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks, that's good.